What up? What up? Whoop. Long time no see, YouTube. I stopped posting for a bit because I had started a job. Yes, had past tense. I am now without a full time job again because that was just as I hated it. Yeah, it's not great to be like, wow, so you just quit your job? Yes, because my sanity was at risk again. So I'm going to be picking up shifts again at my gym, which is not a long term fix. I'm still going to be looking for work, and I have maybe a line on some temp work from a friend who also used to be a librarian. I say used to because that's one of the realizations that I've come to with this most recent stint at library in a library. I don't want to work in libraries anymore. Definitely not the public library. I just don't think it's for me. I realize I do love information and I love libraries when I'm visiting them and when I am a patron or a customer in them, but working in them, unless I can work at a level that's, let's just be honest, appropriate to my education level, my experience level, I don't want to do that shit. And unfortunately, that's kind of what was going on with this job. I was basically doing clerk shit when I am a credentialed librarian. I'm a fucking professional, you know? And every day I would come in and I just was so bored and realizing this is a dead end. Like, I can't get out of this if I stay here. They won't let me take trainings that I would like to take at like a higher level about budgeting, project management, stakeholder communications, community engagement, because that's not part of your job description. It's like, all right, I don't want to do this anymore. There's also just a real timidity and a meekness to libraries. That whole idea of like librarians being kind of mousy and quiet. There is something to that. And I'm just not that way. I am pretty fucking balls out, tits out, I should say. And that has worked against me in libraries. So I just, for whatever it's worth, I'm just not going to identify as a librarian anymore. So here we are, though, at the gym. Always happy to be here. I'm going to try to do something that I've been programming for myself. I've been doing sets of like high bar tempo power squats, and they suck a lot. This would be the most weight that I've ever done these at. So I'm going to see if I can do these for sets of two sets of 5. That's what I've been building up to. But I may not. I don't know. We'll just see how it feels. I was going to do this morning, but I decided to sleep because I wanted to sleep instead. But I came anyway. Pat on the back. Boop, boop, boop. All right, so let's see what happens.
So the last time I posted to YouTube, I was still doing the Stronger by Science hypertrophy template. I was running it for the second time. I finished that, and now I'm kind of doing a little bit of self-programming, and the bulk of it has been just 3 days a week, which is just kind of how I've been able to get training in. Works for me. I'd like to try to add in another day of maybe accessories or something else, but anyway, in the meantime, I've been squatting 3 times a week. I've been doing belt squats for like crazy volume one day, some SSB tempo pause squats on another day with elevated heels. Those have sucked tremendously. And I've been doing these on this day, this is one of 2 sets of high bar tempo pause squats. This is 190 pounds, which is a lot of weight for me. And probably the most I think I've ever squatted high bar, and definitely high bar tempo. They weren't the prettiest, but I'm pretty proud of them. The speed was pretty good. The depth, the angle doesn't do it much favor, but the depth felt okay. This is the second set. It felt good too. What I had been doing is I started off, this is maybe like the 4th or the 5th week that I've been training this way. It could be the 6th. I don't know. But I started off just doing these at like 135 and then just kept adding weight. And this is probably going to be the heaviest I go before I start doing a more formal template again. I've found a couple of online programs that I'm going to run. It doesn't necessarily bother me to go into the gym and just, do whatever the hell it is I want, but I try to maintain some structure just because I feel like I make the most progress and get the most out of my time in the gym when I stick to a plan, whether it's my own program or somebody else's, especially since I don't have a coach. And I just want to be able to feel like I get, the most out of my time. And honestly, the hypertrophy program that I ran and doing it this way, I really do feel like I'm seeing some gains. Like I'm not trying to focus on strength too much, but I am taxing myself enough so that I leave after a session thinking, oh, okay, yeah, that was worth it. That was a good effort. So I was really proud of those. These are back off sets that I did at 175, 2 by 6. What you're noticing is, and this is how I've structured it. I didn't realize that these were called pyramid sets. So when you get to the top, you do, your heavier weight, and then you come back down, and you do lighter weights. I just started doing them because it kept me from being bored. I mean, obviously, I could go into the gym and just, do a 3 by 5 or 4 by 6 or any of that. And I have done that too. There's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly acceptable. Just not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do it this way because I feel like it kept, just kept it a little interesting. And also, the CNS does seem to get a little bit tricked. So, like, I did these right after I did my 190-pound high bar squats. This is at my normal bar placement. I call my bar placement like kind of like mid bar. I don't have a true low bar positioning on my squat, my crooked squat. So I've been doing those back offs, and I take the weight down. So those were 175. And then I'll do one final set, which you'll see in a second, at 165 pounds. So just taking 10 pounds off each time and adding more reps. Another thing that I'll say that some people might think is just anathema and maybe some type of a lifter's crime is I will mix up high bar with my low bar squats in one session. I don't give a shit. There are some programs where they'll just have you doing high bar for an entire block or the entire program, or you have you training competition squat, which would be whatever it is you train your competition squat at. Is it low bar, high bar, medium bar, whatever? I don't think my legs give a shit. So my concentration hasn't been so much on, what kind of bar placement am I using? So much as, am I going deep? Am I getting low enough? Do I feel like I'm getting enough quad activation? Am I trying to get a couple of sessions in where, I can feel that my glutes and hips are kind of where I'm getting the most power out of? That's fine. My thing is just, I need to be squatting. I'm not going to be one of those chicks who don't squat. So, yeah. So that's why you'll see that in this particular session, it's one session, I went from high bar to, my traditional low bar. And yeah, it was fine. I did this for 5 or 6 weeks. This will probably be the heaviest I go before I jump onto something else. And it's been okay. My legs never gave me any fits. Even though this was a pretty manageable single set of 8 for 165 pounds, it was taxing. I say that, and that's funny because the belt squats, once you see what those look like, this is nothing compared to those. The belt squats, I've been doing those for sets of 20, 5 sets of 20, and been kind of they almost look like pulse squats, but when I post them, you can tell me what you think. But yet the set of 8 felt like death. It was really hard. I was just tired by this point, and I did go to the gym really late. I wanted to go in the morning, but I just decided to sleep, and I'm glad that I did because, sleep is awesome. But yeah, I do think the depth could have been a little bit better on a couple of the last reps, but fuck it. Alright, and the next thing, these. Okay, so I've been doing conventional deads with controlled eccentrics, but I've also been doing pause. So it was like pause with controlled eccentric. I didn't do that today because my back was a little wrecked. After doing those squats, I had like a pretty stiff back. It was kind of tight, and I don't want to push it. I did 265-pound pause with tempoed eccentric last week's, and I was hoping to hit 275 today, but it just wasn't there. I just decided to do a set of 5x5 of regular no pause squats with controlled eccentric and took the volume. The volume far exceeded what I normally would have done, and that's a victory. I think sometimes you have to be willing to do that. If you go into the gym and you're your own coach, or even if you're not your own coach, you should be able to say to your coach, "Look, I know this was on the program, but I didn't want to push it. I didn't feel like it was there today. I'd rather not get injured, or my CNS is fried. I'm really fatigued. I just didn't fucking feel like it." That's also a really good answer, and that's how I was today. My back was a little tight. I didn't want to push it, even though I would like to one day see if I can't hit 275 pounds for pause reps with a controlled eccentric, because I like the challenge. Today was not that day. So that's all right. But these were still kind of hard. I mean, it's 225 pounds is nothing anymore. I remember the first time, I think I've said this already, the first time I tried to pull this weight, it wasn't pretty. It looked pretty bad. So knowing that I can, kind of just shit out a 225-pound deadlift any day of the week, that's a good feeling. And, these almost, they look just kind of almost like RDLs or something, but that's what the whole point of doing it this way is. I'm trying to get a little bit more hypertrophy. I want to get some more strength, a little bit more muscles, as much as I can get for being an old broad. Some belt abuse for you. Last set, feeling myself, being silly. Let's go. Getting the greñas ready as well. Psyched up. Boom, boom, boom. You know how we do. Yeah, these were okay. These were fun. Deadlifts are always going to be my baby. So I feel good about adding any kind of volume, even if it wasn't the ideal type of volume. But I also try to remind myself that deadlifts can be taxing. They do take their toll on me, even though I love them. I think I am recording, aren't I? Oops, I can't even know anymore. Anyway, anyway, this is the last set of deadlifts. Feeling pretty good about them. Yeah, buddy. Nice and slow. Easy enough. And last and certainly not least, incline barbell bench press. I've been training incline bench only with this kind of self-program block program that I'm doing, just for a change of pace. And sometimes I'll do dumbbell, sometimes I'll do barbell. I like it. Titties seem to appreciate it. Anyway, this is what I've been doing. I'm going to be posting some training and also some other stuff, maybe some book reviews. I hope that's okay. Thanks for watching. Take care.